Hi, and welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name is Cheyenne. I'm the face behind and founder of Soulful Soothe, which is a place where women can come to soothe the soul. Today, as the title of this video suggests, we will be continuing the Astrology 101 series, where I break down the very complex topic of astrology into very, very basic, fundamental ideology for you, the viewer. I am going to go ahead and pre-apologize if I seem a little low energy or frustrated or flustered in this video, because this is legit the fourth time today that I'm trying to sit down and record this video, and I'm trying very hard to not be frustrated and flustered, but it's hard. So what are we talking about in this video? Today we will be covering the topic of manifesting with the planets. And how I'm going to break this topic down for you is talking about what I personally look for when I want to work with the planet. This can be applied to any planet. And the second thing I'm going to talk about is my personal recommendations for a few planets that you can work with if you are a beginner to manifesting with the planets. And the third thing I'm going to talk about is a few of my all-time favorite manifesting techniques. So without further ado, let's get back into the contents of this video. First things first, what do you need to look for when wanting to manifest with any planet? Is going to be the orbit schedule. What I mean by that is, how long does it take this planet to make a full rotation, a full orbit through our solar system? I say that this is an important thing to look for when wanting to work with a planet, because the planets that are closer to the sun or in the inner rings of our solar system, those planets don't take as long to do a full rotation around the sun, meaning that your work could potentially come in quicker, it could manifest quicker than if you were to be working with one of the planets in the outer rings or further away from the sun, because those planets tend to take multiple years, to do a full orbit. This is why you see people within the same generation have the same Saturn placements, for example. That's the biggest planet that can, come to my mind first when thinking about the outer ring planets. I think it takes Saturn 26 to 29 years to do a full orbit. Really, really insane. Could you imagine walking toward a destination for 20 plus years? I personally can't, because I'm impatient as fuck. But that's neither here nor there. The second thing that I want you to look for when trying to manifest with a planet is the theme of that planet. Meaning, what area of life does this planet rule over, influence? What theme or what portion of life is this planet specifically responsible for? So, example, Mercury. Mercury is the planet of communication and short-term travel. Well, those are two things that Mercury is commonly associated with. Not all of the things, but the big things. So if I were to be manifesting something short-term travel related, let's say I want to take a trip to Bora Bora, I might work with the planet of Jupiter, or that's another planet, but I might work with the planet of Mercury specifically to call that intention in, to call that thing that I want, that I desire, call that into my experience from the universe. So just to recap, in case I've already lost you from my little tangents, the first two things that you're going to look for when working with any planet, first and foremost, is going to be the orbit schedule. Look and see if that planet moves around the sun quickly or not quickly. And the second thing that you're going to look for is the theme of the planet, or what area of life that planet is responsible for influencing. Now, the second portion of this video is going to talk about my top three recommendations of planets to work with if you are a beginner. If you're a beginner, I personally recommend working with the Moon, Venus, or Jupiter to call in whatever you desire. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about each of these astral bodies and why I personally recommend to work with them. Now, the moon technically is not a planet, it's a luminary, meaning it's a light source for our solar system. I personally recommend working with the moon for a few reasons. One, it's associated with our emotional body, our emotional landscape, everything related to emotions. Every single emotion that any human can experience is related to the moon. So when you're manifesting something, you want to make sure that you're vibing high. And when I say vibing high, I don't mean in the new age toxic positivity bullshit kind of sense where everything is hunky-dory and there's no famine in the world, there's no bad experiences. Like, I'm not saying that in a toxic positive kind of sense. I'm saying vibe high as in you can have a poor experience, honestly say that was a poor experience, but not get stuck in that place. That's what I mean when I say vibing high. That's what I mean when I say emotional stability. I personally think that in today's society on social media, there seems to be this push for people to always be happy or to always be grateful about something and not complaining. And I just think that that's total bullshit. And maybe that's because I have all this Pisces in my chart. I'm very comfortable with talking about and exploring those deeper, darker emotions, but I just don't. And maybe this also is the fact that I'm a Virgo rising. I don't think it's realistic to expect any human being to stay in one emotional river for the entire human experience. Like, you're going to experience different things in this life, and there's no way possible that you could be happy about somebody cutting you off in traffic 6 times in a row. Absolutely not. And if you think that you're one of those people who is like, oh, there's always a positive, blah, 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 bring your ass to Houston and see this traffic and see how long you last being positive. Anyway, I recommend working with the moon because of the emotional aspect of the moon, how it's associated with our emotions, and the fact that it only takes 28 to 31 days for it to do a full orbit, meaning your manifestations can be materialized a little bit quicker in relation to some of the other planets. Another planet I recommend beginners to work with is the planet of Venus, because Venus is the planet of love and luxury. Now, those aren't the only two things that Venus is associated with or responsible for or influences the most, but those are the two all-encompassing words that I can think of right now to talk about the planet of Venus. Venus is a female or a feminine planet, meaning that it is more benefic, it's more receptive, it's more nurturing. There's a lot more grace with Venus than, let's say, her counterpart of Mars. Now, when I say that the planet is more feminine, I just mean that in the spiritual sense of divine feminine being the receiver and divine masculine being the giver. Venus is a planet that you'll want to work with if you're looking to receive something or call it in with a lot more ease, and if you don't really want to have to put in a ton of like hard work. Now, when I say that, I don't mean that there's absolutely nothing you can do to work with that planet. Like, you can't go on a job interview, or you can't text someone and ask them, do they want to go out? I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that if you want to attract something more than assert yourself to get it, that would be the planet to work with. Now, the third planet that I recommend any beginner to work with is Jupiter. Jupiter is the planet of expansion. So just as a disclaimer, the word expansion, we hear that and we have this positive connotation in our society with that word, but I want you to have a more realistic perspective of that word. Expansion, the word expansion really just means growth, and growth can be a positive thing and it can also be a negative thing. Positive thing, it can be more money in your bank account. It can be more strawberries in your strawberry patch. It can be more cars in your garage than you've had before. But on the flip side of that, it can also be more conflict or more repossessions of your material items because you didn't pay your bills. It could be weeds or mold. Yes, those things are growth. You can see something getting bigger and bigger, but it's not getting bigger and bigger in the direction that you want it to be. But guess what? It's still expansion. So working with the planet of Jupiter, a lot of people look to that planet for money manifestations, anything related to career and your sustenance, your guap, your cheddar. So that's why I recommend Jupiter as one of the planets to work with, as a beginner. Okay, now we're gonna talk about some of my all-time favorite manifestation techniques. So one of my absolute favorite ways to manifest something or to work with a planet to get something, in other words, is glamour magic. However, I don't wear makeup, and I'm not saying that as a pick-me. I just am too lazy and don't give a fuck. But the way I practice glamour magic is through my nails. So when I want to be more feminine, instead of going for like a square or a tapered square or a ballerina shape, I'll go for an almond semi-coffin shape, just because feminine energy is supposed to be more relaxed, more attracting, less asserting. And so I can't do much when my nails look like that. I mean, obviously I can cook, I can clean, I can wipe my ass 100% guaranteed. But when I have almond shape or stiletto shape, I have to be a little bit more careful. One, because the nails are longer and I don't want to break them because I spend a lot of money on them. But also, like, if I'm typing, I don't want to be typing with the very tip of the nail because it's going to make it dull quicker. And so because it's a little bit more high maintenance, you have to be gentle and take care of the shape. That, to me, that represents more femininity. Now, I am going to pop on the screen right now the associations of each digit, each finger with each planet, as well as show you how the left side of the body, so the left hand, is associated with femininity, and the right side of the body, or the right hand, is associated with masculinity or masculine energy. Taking this a step further, in addition to my nails, I will work with the planets by placing a ring on the finger that is associated with the planet that I want to work with. So that's just one way that I personally work with my nails, or use my nails as a conduit to work with specific planets. Another manifestation technique or thing that you can incorporate into your rituals is playing with time. Now, I'm sure that you all know that there are specific zodiac seasons. That's how we get our sun signs, based on where the sun was when we were born. So Cancer season, Scorpio season, Virgo season, all the seasons. You can work with a specific topic, or you can set an intention during specific seasons that correlate to the area of life that you want. So for an example, if I am wanting to be a better steward of the material possessions that I have, I might set an intention related to that topic during Taurus season, because Taurus's key word is I have, and Taurus is all about values and material possessions. If I am wanting to be more authentic to my true self and stop hiding behind a mask, or realize that I haven't been honest with the people around me or the people in my family about who I truly am, I might set intention to step into my own power, or get rid of some sort of like fear of being seen or fear of being heard. I might work with or set an intention during Leo or Scorpio season, because Leo is all about being seen and Scorpio is all about hiding things and being mysterious. So I might set intentions related to those topics during either of those seasons. Another way that you can work with planets by playing with time is specific days of the week. I'm going to pop on the screen right now each day of the week and the planet that it's associated with. In addition to setting intention on these specific days, you can get even more granular and tap into the planetary hours. Now, those hours change day by day, and I did find a website that will calculate the times for you. I'm going to put that in the description box and not on the screen, just so that we can, you know, keep going, moving right along, since this is the 4th time I'm recording this video. But you can definitely play with time to tap in and use the planets to manifest whatever it is that you desire. The third, and probably my all-time favorite way to work with a planet, is through candle magic. Now, especially if you grew up in the church, specifically the Catholic or Orthodox church, you've probably already done this and just didn't know it. So people tend to use prayer candles or larger candles to call in what they want and to solidify them for a longer period of time, because it takes a long time for those candles to burn. When people are wanting to do quick workings or call in something rather quickly, they might use a smaller candle, like a chime candle. This is all based on your personal preference, and as a beginner, I don't want you to focus on picking the right method or the right technique or doing things the right way. It's all about exploration. Obviously, I want you to be safe physically, but also mentally and spiritually. So I want you to make sure that you have mentors around you so that they can tell you, no, I might not want to do that, or yeah, you probably should go ahead and do that. This is all based on your own personal discretion and your discernment. You need to be very careful with who you're working with, because they definitely can give you bad advice. And I know I'm saying this and asking you to trust me in the same breath, but keep in mind, we are on the internet. Do your own diligence, your own due diligence, your own research. Make sure that these things that you're doing, you are going to be comfortable with. All that being said, disclaimers out of the way. One of my favorite ways to work with candles that are not in a container like this, if I have a candle that is just like the bare candle, I like to carve on the side of the candle, or maybe even on the bottom of the candle, either a sigil, a rune, or like my name, just because it imprints more of my essence, more of my personal energy onto that candle. Also, because working with a candle requires fire. Fire is a very fast element. It tends to speed up the process. Now, I know I said when working with prayer candles or those larger candles that are like this, it takes a very long time to burn down. As you can see, this candle has not been used very much. I think we've only lit it like 2 or 3 times, but if I were to associate a manifestation with this candle, I know that that manifestation is not going to come and then leave as quickly as it came, just because the candle takes a long time to burn down. So I know that my manifestation is going to be long lasting. But as I promised with this series, these videos will not be more than like 15-20 minutes. They won't be super long. I'm just giving you a taste, a small little sample of astrology knowledge. If you have any questions at all, feel free to drop those in the comments down below. And until the next time, the next video, the next vlog, whatever the hell I post, until the next time, you know where to find me if you need me. All links are in the description box. I love you so much. Ciao.